Hello and welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP ABAP on Cloud come RESTful Application Programming Training or RAP training with me Anubhav. Welcome everyone to this live batch on SAP ABAP on Cloud. Thank you so much for attending the demo session yesterday and being part of this journey with us once again. I personally welcome all of you to this live batch on RESTful Application Programming. In this session today, we are going to talk about Introduction to SAP BTP. We will also learn how to set up your BTP account. We will discuss about what is ABAP on cloud, what is the benefit ABAP on cloud brings to us, including the use cases. Then we will discuss about our development tools which we plan to use as part of this journey. This 40-hour journey begins today with introduction to BTP and ends with different kinds of use cases of moving your ABAP code into the cloud, building full stack ABAP applications using RAP, or building a side by side extension using ABAP programming and CDS entities. So let's get started. We will begin with introduction to BTP first because that's the platform on which SAP have come up with the ABAP programming model. So let's discuss first of all the difference between on-premise system and cloud system. Because before we even talk about BTP, we need to understand what is actually a cloud system and why do we need to use a cloud system in real life. Without understanding of a cloud system, it will not make sense to understand BTP. So I would want to take a real practical example to understand a cloud system. In order to understand, let's think about eating process. Last evening, as usual, I was very famished and I was having a carving of eating pizza. So what are the options I have to fulfill my appetite for eating pizza? Option number one is I go to the market and I buy all the necessary ingredients for making a pizza, bring it at home, and then use my oven and cooking gas to make a pizza and serve myself on my dining table. Now, if you compare this with the software, in order to use the software in a company, you would need multiple components. These components include hardware, operating system, networking, security, the software itself, all the supporting libraries, runtime, databases, and then you install your software on your own servers. And finally, you configure the software to run, customize, adapt, and then use it. So, in order to use a software, you have to manage everything on your own. Similar to managing everything on your own for making a pizza. In this case, the entire stack for building and using the software is owned by your company. Hence, the total cost of ownership will be very high. This is a typical example of an on-premise system, what we are all used to use. Example, SAP ECC or SAP BW or SAP BPC or CRM, PLM, HCM, SRM. All these are examples of on-premise system where your company need to procure the hardware from market, buying those Dell hardwares, Lenovo hardwares, installing the operating systems on top, and then installing the necessary softwares and components, pay a lump sum fees for 20-year licensing contract to companies like SAP, get engaged with them, and then implement that software in your company at a large scale. The disadvantage of an on-premise system is slower pace of innovation. So if in case in the future you have new releases or new functionality delivered by the software company SAP, then you need to apply and upgrade your system over the time. Usually the release cycle is 1 year. So at the end of every 1 year is when you will get the only at the end of 1 year you will get the only then you will get the new release or new features. That's a disadvantage of an on-premise system. The second option for me to fulfill my appetite is I will go and to the supermarket in the frozen food section, and there I will get a ready to cook pizza. You might have seen in frozen food section there are companies who are sending and serving a ready to eat pizza which you can just take at home in a nitrogen packing. You just get it at home, put it in your oven and start cooking and eat. This will save little bit of time for me. Yes, take and bake. That's the second option. If you now compare this with software, in the software what we do, whatever infrastructure we need to run a software, which includes the compute unit, the hardware, RAM, the hard disks, the CPUs, we will outsource that. We will rent out a computer from internet. There are many companies who are doing that. We can go to them and say, hey, can you give me a computer with 100 terabyte of storage and 10 GB of RAM? And this company will give you a system with, let's say, less than $50 a month. So what you've done, you rather than going to market and buying your own hardware, you have basically relying on somebody else for renting out a computer. Yes. So that is what you will do within a infrastructure as a service. The next option what we have is platform as a service. Now this is equivalent of pizza delivery. I call up Swiggy or Zomato in India and I will order a pizza at my door. In that case, the toppings, the sauce, cheese, fire, oven, cooking gas, I don't have to own. I will outsource that to somebody else. They deliver the hot pizza at me. I will just arrange dining table and soda to eat it. So in this situation, the this is equivalent of platform as a service, where in order to run a software, the entire hardware is coming from somebody else. You are renting out the hardware again. Plus on top, what you need to run a software, you need database, you need runtime, you need operating system, you need tools, services. All these things is managed by somebody else. And what you manage is only the software. You build software on top of this entire platform. Now this is equivalent of SAP Business Technology Platform. SAP BTP is actually a platform as a service for you and me like developers who would like to build applications in the cloud. We don't have to manage the hardware, which means you don't have to go to market and buy a RAM, CPU, hard drive. You don't have to do that. It's managed by somebody else. Plus, the necessary components need to build a software, which is database, runtime, tools and services, is also managed by the platform owner, in this case, SAP. So this is where you can see we have platform as a service. Let's say you cannot control your appetite and you want to be super fast. You straight ahead land up to one of the store, which is Domino's or Pizza Hut or La Pizzeria, and there you order a pizza. They serve you hot pizza on your table. You eat it and you come back at home. In this case, including the soda and dining table is also managed by vendor. Now this type of offering in software is equivalent of software as a service, where the entire stack, including the software, is managed by the vendor. You will act as an end user to use the software. That's it, from your browser. In our daily life, we use hundreds and hundreds of these software applications day to day basis these days. These are software as a service applications. Applications like Ola, Uber to book the cabs, Airbnb to rent out a room, or for example, Netflix to watch a movie, or Amazon Prime Video, Gmail. These are all examples of software as a service which you and me use on our daily life, where you don't bother about hardware, you don't bother about building a software, rather, you just consume the software on your mobile devices or your browser app. Remember the time when you used to watch movies in early 90s? You used to have a VCR at home. You are managing the electricity at home, and then you need to also buy a cassette to play the movie, which means to watch a movie you have to have a TV at home, you have to have the VCR at home, you have to have the infrastructure, you have to have the electricity, you have to have everything on your own, and only then you can watch a movie. But look at today's world, none of these are required. Simply open the browser, take a subscription from Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hotstar, and then you can start watching your content. What an example of software as a service. We all are used to these days instant value, where we consume softwares in our daily life as a service. Now, for developers, what is important in all four of them? For developers like you and me, we are technical engineers. We are passed out of engineering colleges, some from some universities. So for us, important is the third one, which is platform as a service, where you and me will manage application and data on top of a already available platform. So that is what the third example you can see, pizza delivered is equivalent of platform. And this is where the BTP comes into picture. So our goal as an engineer to help companies get a job, get a multi-million dollar paying job, yes, which will buy all the luxury iPhones and BMWs for you. This is where the platform comes into picture, where you learn the technical aspect of how to use a BTP platform or SAP platform to build applications for multinational company and get a respectable job, right? So that's the third option, which is platform as a service. So in this case, the vendor who is SAP will manage the infrastructure plus the platform, the runtime, the OS, the database, the tools, everything. So as we discussed in the last section, the basically the different options of building consuming software. Now what are the different offerings? Clearly cloud offers. So the first offering, as you saw, is the infrastructure as a service, which includes virtualization, server, storage, and networking. There are many companies in the market who do this job very well. If you heard about Amazon, Amazon Web Services, or Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, or Alibaba Cloud, what are they? These companies have spent billions of dollars across the globe to procure hardware, set up hardware in their data centers. And now they are renting out that hardware to us. Suppose I have a killer idea of a startup. Yes, and I would like to launch a machine learning or a AI machine. Yes, I want to build a AI algorithm. Now to build a AI algorithm, I need 100 terabyte of RAM. If I go to market to buy 100 terabyte of RAM, how much is it going to cost me? Huge. But I don't know if my idea is good or not. So why to invest such a money? So what I can do, I can go to Amazon and say, hey Amazon, can you give me a laptop or a computer on the internet which has 100 terabyte of RAM? And Amazon says, why not? Here it is. Pay me $50 a month and I give you a system which you can access remotely, which has 100 terabyte of RAM. Wow. That's an example of infrastructure as a service. And the companies who are leading are Amazon, Azure, and Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud in this space. SAP also have done partnership with these companies to use their infrastructure for their platform. The second offering is platform as a service PaaS, where the companies will provide you the necessary configuration, database, middleware, runtime, and tools to build application. This is where BTP comes into picture. So this platform as a service is for developers like you and me. To build an application, traditionally, what do you need? You need to install database in your laptop. You need to install programming language support. Yes, all that you need to do in the past. But now, bye bye to all that. We've got platform as a service, which allows us to configure and use our directly use our platform, on top of which you can start building applications. So as a developer, what you just do is manage application and data. Let's say if you are not managing application and data also, then it's application as a service, which we all use day to day life as a user. But for us as a developer, we would be using platform as a service. And the good news is platform will manage the infrastructure behind the scenes. So if customer manages everything, yes, you and me, if we are the customer, and if we manage everything ourselves, then it's a on-premise system. If SAP manage the infrastructure and customer manage the platform and application, then it is called private cloud offering. If SAP manage the platform and infrastructure both, but only customer manage application and data, then it's a platform as a service offering. And if SAP manage the entire stuff, then it's an application as a service offering. Example of such application as a service from SAP are success factors. If you heard about success factors, Ariba, SAP Ariba, SAP Concur, yes, SAP Field Glass, SAP S4 HANA Cloud, SAP Analytics Cloud. All these are examples of application as a service which your company might use given by SAP. But for us, we are engineers, we are developers. So for us, the relevant option is option number three, which is SAP managing the platform, and we build application on top of that platform with our programming experience, with our knowledge of technical skills, right? That's what that's what we do usually. So now if you compare this quickly, as a developer, you can see we manage application and data, and the infrastructure is managed by one of the SAP partner, whether it is Amazon, Azure, or Google Cloud. And then platform as a service, SAP have their platform which they build. It's called BTP platform. So BTP is a platform as a service which we use. Now, when SAP wanted to build BTP platform, they don't wanted to start from scratch. Yes, they don't want to reinvent the wheel. So when they went to the market, they found out there are already companies who are doing very good in this space. There are many companies who have innovated a lot of things when it comes to building a platform. And these companies, like, were one of the company was Cloud Foundry, which was a joint venture of Bosch, EMC Square, and Sun Microsystem. So these companies have already innovated a platform as a service which is an open source. This platform was called Cloud Foundry. So when SAP wanted to build their own platform, they didn't start from scratch. What they did, they took the libraries, they took the open source image of Cloud Foundry platform for building their platform. And on top of it, they've added their own flavor, own services. So Cloud Foundry became the backbone for SAP to build their BTP platform. So they did not reinvent the wheel. That's why sometimes you hear this term called Cloud Foundry. What is Cloud Foundry? It's an open source platform as a service provided by a company called Pivotal, which is a joint venture of EMC Square and Robert Bosch. So that is an open source, which means you can tomorrow build your own platform. So I can build a Anubhav cloud platform also. Yes, if I learn Cloud Foundry, then I can actually use its image, open source image, and I can build my own cloud platform. So what SAP did, they took the image which is provided by Cloud Foundry, and on top of it they've added their own features, and that they published as a SAP BTP platform. Now what is the advantage? What is the advantage of using cloud? You may say, why is this so much of effort? Why we are cannot continue to be using our on-premise systems? What is the disadvantage of on-premise? What is the benefit? Why companies are moving to cloud? Yes, why everywhere there is a lot of cloud adoption? Yes, so first advantage is scalability. What is scalability? Imagine today in your company you have you are using a SAP system, and your number of users are 500. Tomorrow these number of users increase to 5,000 over just a day, or maybe 5 million. Yes, then how do you handle such a load? Yes, such a load. So what do you need? you would actually need to go and almost double or triple your infrastructure. You have to go to market, buy new RAM, new hard disk to scale your system. And this will be a time taking process, because in a company you have to get the budget approved, then you have to go to market, procure hardware, you have to hire basis people, you have to hire network administrator, system administrator, IT consultants to set up all these things for yourself. And then only you can scale your system to next level, to attach new hardware, to add new capabilities. So the scalability is difficult to achieve. I'm not saying impossible, but it is difficult, hard, and time taking process to achieve. Whereas, let's say if you want to proceed further and you wanted to build or increase the scale for a cloud system, you can go to Amazon and say, Amazon, right now my system is 10 GB RAM. Can you increase it to 100 GB RAM? Within 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, Amazon will increase your RAM without any downtime. Yeah. So scalability is quite easy to achieve. Look at what happened in COVID-19. Suddenly lockdown happened. Everybody started working from home. Everybody need access of company systems through the internet. Yes, they don't want to go inside the company now. They wanted to access solutions, softwares through the internet. Yes, because lockdown happened. So there was scalability. So it was hard to achieve scalability with a on-prem system, and we achieved scalability through the cloud system quite easily. Wow. Wow, guys. So this is the advantage of scalability which we got. The second benefit is elasticity. What is elasticity? The elasticity is basically an ability to use different flavors, techniques, and ability to switch. So today if you buy a SAP software, you are stuck with it for 20 years or 10 years. But when you go with the cloud solutions, there is no lock-in period there. Yes, you can anytime switch to any other software vendor at any given time. Plus, it gives you freedom of choice. So when you build on SAP BTP platform, it is not mandatory that you only use one programming language. You can use any database of your choice, and you can use any programming model or programming language of your choice. Yes, ABAP is not the only programming language on this planet. There are many other powerful languages like Java, Node.js, Perl, Python, Ruby, .NET, C Sharp, Objective-C, right? There are many languages. So SAP allows you to build application with the language of your choice. So if you use SAP platform or BTP platform or any other platform as a service, they give you freedom. They give you freedom of choice. So that brings elasticity. You are not logged in, and you don't have a rigid order for choosing a particular programming language. That's another advantage you get as elasticity. So don't look at just from your perspective. Look at from your company CIO perspective, your chief IT officer. If you are running a company, yes, and you are going to market, and a ABAP developer is demanding a package of 30 lakh per month, whereas a Java developer is ready to work with you for 5 lakh per month. Of course you will build with Java, right? Because it's cheaper. The technical labor cost is cheaper. You will go with the comparatively you will go with Java development, because you ultimately you're going to get the same software. So cloud gives you that flexibility, that you hire a Java developer and you build your application in the cloud with Java if ABAP developer is costing you high. Yes, so that elasticity is there. Then next is lower TCO, lower total cost of initial ownership. So in this case, if you go with a application development today, your company need to have everything ready. They need to go to market, buy hardware, buy software, get a license, or get all the licenses of different software, which is a time taking process, and initial investment is very high. So in this situation, what you can do, if you go with cloud, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go with such a high investment. So initial investment also is very low when it comes to cloud. So these are the advantages why companies are moving to cloud, why they are preferring cloud as a preferred option for their development. Yes. So I will discard all the questions for now, which are irrelevant for today's class. I will only answer the relevant questions from the chat or on the line. Any question on this slide, on this particular slide, of difference between cloud and on-premise? So the first question is, what is the difference between S4 private cloud and public cloud? S4 private cloud is basically where your infrastructure, you see this infrastructure is owned by your company. You go to Amazon personally and you buy a Amazon machine where you run your S4 HANA cloud. That's called S4 HANA private cloud. If you go with S4 HANA public cloud, this infrastructure is not owned by you. You are not paying for the infrastructure every month. It is SAP who is paying for this infrastructure every month. And in that Amazon machine, SAP have given you access of S4 HANA. So that is the S4 HANA private cloud versus public cloud. So it's just the difference of who pays for this infrastructure directly. If you pay for this infrastructure directly, it's S4 HANA private cloud. If SAP pay for this infrastructure, then it's called public cloud. Yeah, it's called public cloud. So it's like hiring a car. So if you hire a car for yourself and you travel with that, it's a private car, right? It's a private car. You buy the car, it's your private car. You are paying for the maintenance of that car every month, and you are paying for the parking of that car every month. That's a private car. But if you rent a car from Uber, that's a that's not your car. That's a public car. That's a car owned by public. I mean, anyone can hire that car. Anyone can anytime hire that car. So that is public cloud. That is public cloud. So who pays for infrastructure? Depending on that, it is decided whether it is S4 HANA private cloud or S4 HANA public cloud. Yes. The second question is related to OData. We will discard this question. This is not relevant for today's class. Okay. Any other questions on difference between on-premise versus cloud and what is BTP? No? Okay. Fantastic. Then let's proceed further. So now
Another
we know
one
little bit.
question.
Yes, please.
Uh, so I'm not very clear when you say public cloud, is this again application as a service which you mentioned in the previous slide, software as a service, or is it still platform as a service with just the company paying for the infra?
So both are software as a service, whether it is public cloud or private cloud, because ultimately it's a S4 HANA system you are using for your end users. Both are software as a service. But how you are paying for that software as a service? One option, you pay for software as a service plus the underlying infrastructure your company is directly paying for that. That's a private cloud. But option number two, where your company is paying for just software as a service and the cost of the infrastructure is included in the software as a service. So it's about how you pay the cost of using that software. That is what it means. But both are software as a service because you are using S4 HANA cloud as a service. Full form of TCO, as I already mentioned, please pay attention to the class regularly. So it's called total cost of ownership, TCO. Can we also use cloud system via BTP or any other approach to access cloud system? Answer is no. BTP is for engineers, for developers, for development teams and companies who are providing solutions to their customers. Yes, that is why BTP is used for. You cannot use BTP for any other purpose. So BTP is basically where all your all your complete applications gets deployed. Yes, or you build your fresh applications on top of BTP. What is hybrid cloud? Hybrid cloud is nothing but where you are running a cloud system and a on-premise system parallelly. That is called hybrid. Hybrid means mix. It's a mix approach. So you have your on-premise system plus your cloud system. Imagine in your company you have a database called HANA, and this is a HANA on-premise database where you pay for hardware, and you have your own HANA where you're keeping your data. Now there's a requirement to serve this data to an Android application. Now your on-premise system cannot connect to Android application due to security reasons. So what do? Partially some data you move from your HANA database, which is in your infrastructure, in your own infrastructure to the cloud. And in the cloud, on the internet, cloud means simply on the internet. On the internet, there's a database you have set up. That database is HANA Cloud Database, and you move some partial data from your on-premise system to your cloud system. So there you are running in a hybrid mode. You have cloud also, you have on-premise also together. So this is something which will also can be used as a phased rollout of cloud in the company. Yes, that's called hybrid cloud. Okay, now let's quickly look at the architecture of SAP BTP, the platform. The platform itself is very big. Yes, just like if you've seen Bangalore platform, Kempagoda station. Yes, or if you've seen Delhi platform, I'm sure some of you visited Delhi, or those who are living in European countries, you might have seen Frankfurt Bahnhof station, right? How big a station is? The station offers many services, including ticketing, food, yes, shelter, right? Station has many services. Similarly, it's a platform offers many services. So you can see right at the center, SAP BTP platform, it is offering four types of services to you and me. First is database and management. So it allows you to connect and become a storage medium for your solutions of your data. So it offers HANA, SAP HANA Cloud, SAP Data Intelligence products, SAP MDG integration, and adaptive server, which allows you all about managing, storing, moving, and provisioning your data in the company. So these are data related solutions what the BTP offers. The second is analytics solutions. Once you have your data in the company, you would want to look at the data and analyze the data and give much more meaningful description to the data, like building charts, graphs, building some data analytics. Yes, all that you want to do. So that comes under analytics section. Here, SAP offer their own products, and these products are also based on top of BTP. So SAP says we consume our own dog food, which means they build their solutions on top of their existing BTP platform, which includes SAP Analytics Cloud, SAP Data Warehouse Cloud, now known as DataSphere, SAP Cloud BobJ, SAP Business Planning and Consolidation Integration on BW for HANA integration. So it offers integration components for building analytics for all of you. If you are interested to learn the Analytics Cloud or SAP DataSphere, I have dedicated courses on Anubhav trainings for these things. So there you can go and learn these extra things in case you are interested. You heard about these terminologies, but you don't know what they are and how to use them. Then you can join my other courses where I'm teaching that. The third area is basically important area for us, relevant for this training: application development and integration. This is where the development comes into picture, where developers and engineers like you and me, who studied engineering, who did MTech or BTech or BE, they come, they use their experience of programming, whether be it ABAP programming or any other programming language, and build new solutions using those programming languages. So that's called SAP Application Development Integration section. There are three important components there: SAP Integration Suite, Extension Suite, and Process Orchestration. So there in Integration Suite, you just work about integration, where you move data from one system to another through the BTP. That's called SAP Integration Suite. So second component is extension suite, where you will actually build complete new application on top of BTP or extend existing SAP BTP applications. That's called extension suite. And the third is process orchestration, which is now called as SAP Build Process Automation. That's a new name. So there you can use you can use different cloud products to build SAP business processes, model business workflows in the cloud. I also have dedicated course on SAP business workflow in the cloud. You can subscribe that course on our website in case you are interested. But our focus will be this area, where we will learn about SAP development, application development on BTP. That they offer intelligent technologies related to robotic process automation, conversational AI or KAI, or Internet of Things integration where you can control devices through BTP, SAP AI services. So these are some of the components which SAP offers as part of BTP. So it's a platform, and this platform have something for everyone. Yeah, something for everyone. That is what this platform is. So you will actually see how do we use and set up this platform today to basically build our ABAP applications or ABAP programs. So that we will be learning in today's episode. Now apart from that, you can see the SAP BTP platform have integration with both cloud and on-premise system. It has ability to store and connect and move the data across. It has some foundational services which are common across the platform can be used. It offers open APIs for integrating the platform with other platforms. On top of it, we can build, we can integrate, or we can extend existing solutions. So that is what the goal of this platform is. So this platform is offered to SAP partners, partner companies like Accenture, TCS, IBM, Deloitte, EY, EMC Square. Yes, you name the company. Most of these companies, you all are working as a software developers and software engineers, and this platform is offered by SAP for these partners. And these partner companies and their developers like you and me, we develop our applications on top of this BTP platform. So this is why your manager is asking you to learn BTP, because one of you are partner company of SAP and your manager want you to start building application on top of this platform for your customers. So that's the goal why SAP offer the platform to companies, and these companies will then ask their developers to learn the BTP. Now when you learn BTP, basically we are only going to focus only on this area here. Yeah, this area here. Yeah, this area. Yeah, this is the area we will be focusing. BTP itself is very big. Under this big umbrella, we have just this particular area which is our focus for the current training. Yes, and here in this area itself, we will be using ABAP programming language to do this. But we will not be focusing on this. Each of these, what you see here, they are dedicated courses. Yeah, these each of them is a dedicated training. Maybe some trainings are 40 hour, some are 60 hour, some are 100 hour. So it itself is very big, very big. But our focus will be only this, where we will learn how to use the platform to build application. That will be our goal. Yeah, that will be our goal. Now when you create a BTP account, one common thing you need to understand is difference between environment, subscriptions, and instances. This is a very very important difference. We all need to understand. This is very important. So what is an environment? An environment constitute the actual platform as a service offering of BTP that allows the development and administration of business application. So imagine you have been asked by your manager to create a application to manage vendors. Yeah, manage vendors in your company. So let's imagine your company give a contract to me to give a corporate training. So what I am a vendor for your company because I'm providing my services to your company, right? So before I provide the service, your company need to do a KYC for me, right? So what they do, they will send me a link. Anubhav, this is a app. Please register your company detail on this app. Give your company name, your GST certificate, PAN number. Yes, give all the details, bank details on this portal. Yes, to register myself as a vendor. So what is that application? It's a cloud application because I can access it from anywhere, from your mobile also. So if you've been asked to build that application, how do you do that? You need you need a you need a infrastructure, you need a platform on top of which you can code and build that application. So that is done on top of environment. A environment is anchored in BTP at a sub account level. SAP BTP offer three type of environment: ABAP environment, Cloud Foundry environment, and Kima environment. Yes, so this is very interesting. So SAP offer three environments. This is interview question also. The environments are ABAP environment, Cloud Foundry environment, and Kima environment. These are the three types of environments which SAP BTP offer. Now, which environment used for what? Of course, if you have a skill set on ABAP, you will go with ABAP environment. If you have a skill set on open source technologies like Node.js and Java, you will go with Cloud Foundry environment. If you have, if you want to build a application using open source technology, which includes the Java and Node.js, but you want to build a hyperscaler application which will be used by billions and billions of users. In that case, you will choose Kima environment, which is based on Google Kubernetes technology. So most used environment today in the market, I would say around 70% of use cases are done using Cloud Foundry environment. Yes. So around 70% today is Cloud Foundry, which I have seen usually in the market. Around 20 to 25% use cases are done using the ABAP environment. Yes. And around 5 to 8% use cases are done using the Kima environment today. This is how I see usually the adoption as of now in the market. Yes. This is how I see adoption as of now in the market for these different environments. So today 70% use cases done using Cloud Foundry, 20 to 25 using ABAP, and 5 to 8% using Kima in the market as of now. This is the current trend in the market. Now, we will not be learning these two. This is not in the scope of current training. If you're interested to learn Cloud Foundry environment, I have a different course called SAP BTP CAP development. There you will learn open source technology for this environment. But our focus will be this. This will be our focus for the current training. Yeah, this is what we will be learning as part of our current training. Yeah, that is what will be our focus, remember. Now apart from that, SAP also have this something called Neo environment, which is now discontinued. In Neo, SAP had their own infrastructure, so they don't use Amazon infrastructure. They had their own infrastructure which they used to use. So that is no more available. That has been discontinued actually. That has been discontinued. So environment, you're clear. There are three types of environment. Depending on technology you are comfortable with, you will go with that type of environment. So if you're comfortable with ABAP, you go with ABAP environment. And that is what most of you ABAP developers are. You are comfortable with ABAP language. That's why you're learning ABAP on cloud. Yes, because BTP is the cloud system. And since you are going to learn ABAP on top of BTP, you're actually doing ABAP on cloud. Now, next offering which BTP has is called subscriptions. Now, what is subscription? So a subscription is nothing but it you will see these ones are called software as a service or multi-tenant applications. So subscription is actually a application on top of BTP. Yes, the experience here is that you subscribe to a service and in return you get a service URL which you can access that service for. Opening the URL brings you a web application from which you can leverage the service. This is how software as a service like SuccessFactor or S4HANA Cloud work as well. Suppose your company want to use S4HANA Cloud. Yes, it's a software. So your company want to use a software where you can create sales order, purchase order, material on the cloud directly on the browser. So what do? You go to SAP and say, I want to buy your S4HANA Cloud. But S4HANA Cloud cannot run directly in out of thin air. So behind the scene, there has to be a platform, there has to be a database, there has to be OS, there has to be some hardware. So what SAP does, they set up a BTP account first of all for you. On that BTP account, SAP will then install the S4HANA Cloud or basically give you a subscription of S4HANA Cloud behind the scenes. And then only you can use S4HANA Cloud. So subscriptions are nothing but these are software as a services which you subscribe on your BTP account and you will be paying for these services per month basis or per user basis. They are also enabled at sub account level and independent of environment. Yeah, so these applications are independent of environment. You don't need to have Cloud Foundry environment enabled to subscribe for these services. Example of these services are S4HANA Cloud, SuccessFactor. If you heard about BAS tool, what is it? It's a subscription because in return you get a URL. When you use the BAS tool, you get a URL. You click the URL and the BAS tool will launch. So it's a subscription actually. Yes. Now, next is instance based services. These are purest services. They offer a specific functionality like database connectivity authentication. You can connect to these services or these application and leverage the functionality. These services don't provide you a UI to manage them. Instead, they only rely on API to and connect with other services. They are provisioned inside an environment and they are environment specific. Each environment has its own organization. For example, in Cloud Foundry, we have an environment called space. In Kima, we have namespace. So these are purest services. And if you want to use them, they offer an API. And to access this API, you would need an API key. So let me explain you in my next slide what it means for you to have a service like that. So this is also known as backing service. Now suppose you want to use ABAP. Yes, you want to use ABAP in the cloud. So what do you have to do? You have to create a environment, first of all, ABAP environment. Now to connect to this ABAP environment from your tool like SAP GUI, for example, you use SAP GUI in your company to connect to your SAP system, right? So here we will be using also some tool. We will call this tool as ADT tool. I will explain ADT tool in a minute. But how does the ADT tool connect to your BTP account? Through a service. Remember, we are in the cloud. In the cloud, every communication happens via services. Happens via services. So what is a service? A service is nothing but it's a web endpoint. It's a web endpoint which is accessible through the internet. Yeah, that's the simplest definition of a service. It's a web endpoint which help you to connect over the internet. Now, in SAP BTP, first of all, you will decide which service you want to use. Are you want to use database? Are you want to use connection? Are you want to use navigation? Are you want to use connectivity or destination? Are you want to build a database? What do you want to do? So that you decide. So you will first choose a service. Now let me compare this with a real life example. So once upon a time, I went to Europe and I was on a business trip, but I thought, let's take 2 extra days and hang out. Yes. So what I decided to rent a self-drive car. In India also you have Zoom cars. Almost everywhere in every country, on airport, you can go to car rental counters and you can rent a car. So I decided to go to rental car company and I decided to rent a car for myself. So they gave me on Munich airport, they gave me multiple option like I can go with Volkswagen Polo or I can go with Audi A1. And then they were showing me the rates. So which car you want to go, that accordingly you will decide the rates. So these are basically services they offer. Similarly, in BTP, you will have different services to choose from. So you will first choose a service. Now, once you choose a service, system will show you service plans. Yes. So they showed me multiple service plan. I chose Volkswagen Polo and they showed me you want to go basic plan, medium plan or premium plan. Now a plan will decide my cost. Yes, you can see basic plan, cost is included. Medium plan, extra cost this much, which covers personal accident protection. Yes. Premium plan also covers my luggage protection also. So you can see different plans are there to choose from. So we will choose basically one of these plans and then my cost will be decided. Similarly, if you go to BTP, in BTP you will have these services. First you choose which service you want to use. Once you choose the service, you will see service plans. Then the service plan will decide your cost, how much you will be paying for that particular service. And once you choose that, you will actually get the actual car to drive. So I got an actual car to drive. This is called service instance. Yeah, this is called service instance. But can I drive this car? No. What I need the key. I need the key to drive the car. Car will not open. Yes. So when I took a service, I choose a plan, I got a deal, and then finally I got a car to drive. But to drive this car, I need the key. So once you choose a service, you choose a plan, it creates a service instance. Service instance is like actual car, your actual service which you will use. And to access this service, you need service key. You need service key to access this service. So this is what we actually do when it comes to working with the backing services in BTP. Why am I teaching you this? Because soon you will see, once I select ABAP environment or start a ABAP instance on BTP, I will get a service instance. And to connect to this service instance, I would need the service key so that I can go ahead and use ABAP. I can connect to my ABAP system in BTP with my tool, to my tool. That is why I'm teaching you this, that we need a service key to connect to service instance. Yeah. Now, Anubhav, where can I go to see all the list of services? Just like on airport, they show a brochure card where they show different cars and their service plans. Can I also see for BTP? Answer is yes. So if you are willing to use BTP in your company, your manager asks you, what is this particular BTP service cost you? How do you decide? So you can go to SAP BTP Service Discovery Center. So you can go there, and when you come to SAP BTP Service Discovery Center, you can see all the different services offered on top of BTP platform, which you can use. Now think about these services as different car options: Audi, BMW, Volkswagen, yes, Suzuki, different cars, or different cars. So these are different cars. Now for each particular car, you have different offerings actually. So maybe I want to use today a HANA database service, for example. So I search for HANA, and you can see this is a service. Yeah, I can go inside, and when you go inside, you see plans. Remember, for a car, you see different plans. You see cloud platform enterprise agreement plan, pay as you go plan, subscription plan, or trial plan. So what does a plan decide? Anyone? What does a plan decide? What is the difference? What does a plan decides? It's the cost. Very good. Very good answer. Thank you. So you see here, the cost is different for different plans, right? So maybe next time when you go to some airport, try to hire a car in another country. Yeah, self-drive car. You will understand this whole process once again. Yeah. So now the cost will be decided by that. So if you go with HANA, this is your service instance. Sorry, this is your service. You have different plans to choose. Yes. So if you go with this plan, what is your cost for each block? You see 0.75 euro for one block size in this SEPA plan. Yes, and these are the data centers. You see Amazon. Remember, SAP have done partnership with their infrastructure provider Amazon, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. And these companies have put up these millions of dollars of investment for these data centers. So you can decide where will your data resides on. Even on inside behind the scene, there is a infrastructure provider. Where does your data resides? Yes, where does your data resides? So if you go with Amazon, you can choose one of these data centers, which is good. You can meet compliance also, because in Europe you have GDPR, Global Data Privacy Protection Law. According to that, any company, software company who is building a software for European customer, their data should not leave Europe, right? So if you are building, let's say, a software for DB is one of the giant company in Europe which is running the train systems, right? So you're building for them, let's say. So what will happen in that case? You have to choose a data center which is in Europe, one of these data center you have to choose. So if you go with to store data in the cloud with HANA Cloud, then you will go with one of the infrastructure provider with one of the data center. Yes, that is what you will be actually doing. So this is what we can see the pricing. If you go with pay as you go plan, then you can see the plan. This is the plan. This is the pricing for pay as you go plan. Yes, then you go with the of course trial plan is also there, which is free in only in this particular region, in this data center. You can use trial plan actually. So that is free for learning and training purpose, and they will discontinue your system after 60 days. So that's a trial plan also they have. So similarly, if I go back, I choose ABAP. Yeah, so ABAP is also a service in BTP, and you see ABAP, it's an environment. You see environment, remember environment. So it's an environment. What's surprising? You see number of ABAP cockpit run 10 maximum, one instance, 30 GB memory, 500 maximum number of repository objects. This will cost you how much? 0.549 per hour. You see, it's a per hour plan. So every hour your company will pay for 16 GB block with hours of persistence memory and hours of runtime memory. 16 GB block, it is 1.92 euro per month per hour. So in a month, typically how many hours we have? 30 into 24 into uh, 30 into, let's say, 30 days. Yeah, and each day have 24 hours. Yes, so 720 hours we have. 1 into 1.923 into 86 chal raha abhi rate. So it will be costing your company around 1,19,000 to run a ABAP instance in the cloud. Can you imagine? Just to run a ABAP instance in the cloud, on top of which you use your ABAP skills to build a software using ABAP coding. Yes, your company will spend 1,20,000 plus GST. 18% is the GST. So around 1,40,000 is what you just paying per month basis for ABAP development in the BTP cloud. This is the cost. Yeah. So if your manager asks what is the cost to spin a ABAP instance in the cloud on BTP, this is the cost. And that's per month. For 12 month, how much it will be? How much is this? 1 crore 68 lakh, no, 16 lakh 86,000 is the cost in INR currency. In case you consider INR, that's the cost to run a ABAP system in the cloud for 1 year, which your company will pay to do ABAP on cloud. To do ABAP on cloud. Yeah. So that is how you can calculate the cost for different plans. Yeah. Pay as you go plan. Again, you can see there are different costs associated. It's a little bit more higher on a higher side. So depending on the plan you choose. And once you choose a plan, what will happen? You will get the actual car. You'll get the actual instance of that service. And then you use service key to access that instance. Yes, that is what we will be doing as part of our training. So let's quickly look at the bird's eye view of vital parts of a ABAP environment in the BTP. So you can see here, guys, the central box is your BTP. In BTP, you will be using the SAP ABAP environment on BTP. And to start this ABAP environment, the first tool you will use is BTP Cockpit. It's a browser-based access to BTP Cockpit as a developer to start your ABAP instance in the cloud on your BTP platform. Yes, then you can use a tool called ABAP development tool on Eclipse, which I will explain you in a minute. You will use that tool to connect to your ABAP instance on BTP. And then you will start writing your code. And the code, how do you write the code? Using the RAP programming model, you will write the code. Yes, it is cloud optimized ABAP language, released APIs. So you will be writing the code on top of this BTP platform. Behind the scene, they use HANA database to store your data in the cloud. Then you can use connectivity to connect to your company systems, existing systems, be it a on-premise system like S4 HANA, BW or BPC, with the cloud connector. All of this I will teach you. This is just a bird's eye view, 30,000 feet level view of the ABAP on cloud environment. They can connect to cloud systems through web APIs or any cloud solutions like S4 HANA, Concur, SuccessFactors, or Reba. Now, apart from that, you can use Fury tools to build Fury applications. Yes, and then you can also use other BTP services. This ABAP environment can connect to other BTP services. BTP is a big umbrella, I told you, and it has many other services. So you can connect to these services also through your ABAP RESTful programming model. So the programming model we will use is RAP. That's a programming model we will be using in BTP to build our application using ABAP in the ABAP on cloud. So this is ABAP on cloud actually. So basically what is ABAP on cloud? You're writing ABAP code which is executing on BTP platform, and BTP platform is a cloud system. So this is why it is called ABAP on cloud. So I hope everybody is clear what is ABAP on cloud. When you run ABAP code on SAP BTP platform, it is called as ABAP on cloud. I repeat, when you run ABAP code on top of SAP BTP platform in a ABAP environment on BTP, then it is called ABAP on cloud. So ABAP on cloud is not a programming language. ABAP on cloud is the infrastructure. It is the infrastructure where your ABAP is running, where your ABAP runtime is running to execute your ABAP code. Yes, to execute your ABAP code. So you need the ABAP runtime environment to execute your ABAP code. So this is what ABAP on cloud is. Your runtime environment to run ABAP code is running on BTP. It's a cloud platform. On top of cloud it is running. So this is why the code what you're doing, where are you coding? You're coding on ABAP on cloud infrastructure. So let me give you an example. If I just write data lv Matner, type Matner, select single Matner into lv Matner. If you do this, can you execute this code here? Can you execute this code here? You cannot. Why? Because you don't have runtime. You don't have runtime. Yes. What is runtime? Runtime is understand this code. Runtime is someone who understand this code and execute this code. You can't run it in Notepad. You need a runtime. Where is that runtime? Option one, you have your company ECC or S4HANA system where you go to SE38 and you execute this code there. Option two, you can now go take a BTP account in your company. In that BTP account, you can spin a ABAP environment on BTP and you can run your code there also. Yeah, you can run your code here also. So that is your ABAP on cloud. So ABAP on cloud is an infrastructure provided on BTP platform as a ABAP environment where you can run your ABAP code in the cloud. But ultimately, what are you writing? You're writing ABAP code only, which will execute. You will use your ABAP skill. Yes. So now the question comes, what are the tools and how do we set up this BTP account? So what we are going to do, we will step number one, first learn how to set up a BTP account, correct? So we first of all, the very first thing what we need to do is we need to go and we need to see how to set up our BTP account. That we need to do. So step number one, what I will be teaching you is to set up BTP account. This is step number one. Step number two, I will be teaching you how to set up your dev tool. Yes, dev tool. Step number three, I will teach you how to set up your ABAP environment on top of BTP. Step number four, I will teach you how to connect from this your development environment to this ABAP platform on BTP. And as you all know, I told you that we have a service instance like a car, and then we have a service key like a car key, so that you can connect to this from your tool. So we will learn all of this. So step one, set up your BTP account. Step two, set up your development tool. Step three, set up your ABAP environment in the on top of BTP account. And step four, connect to it. And step five, just write a hello world program to test. Yes. So we will be doing hello world. Of course, this is what every developer does when they start their life with the first time in the programming. Of course, you guys are much mature than hello world, but I will actually do a hello world for you. This is what we will be doing in our today's lecture in the next section. Yes. So now till now I just covered little bit of theory to make your backbone ready, to make you understand what BTP is, what BTP offers, how you calculate the cost of running your ABAP environment on BTP. What is ABAP on cloud? Our next section, we will learn how to do the setup for all these things in the system. So let's take a quick break here. And then after the break, we are going to begin the setup of a fresh account in the live system. I'll be back after a short break. Okay, everyone, please come back now to my screen. Welcome back after the break. So before the break, we talked about introduction to SAP BTP. We saw the difference between on-premise and cloud system, and we have seen the concept of backing services, environment, and subscriptions on BTP. Now it's the time that we first set up our fresh SAP BTP account, and then we will set up our dev tool to access our instance on BTP. We set up our ABAP environment on BTP, which is ABAP on cloud, and then we connect our dev tool to build our first Hello World program on BTP. We will also discuss about the limitation what the ABAP environment in the cloud have when it comes to accessing our application or building our application. So let's first start with setting up our BTP account.
Anubhav, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yes, please go ahead.
So I still have some confusion. Like we implemented S4 HANA for a customer.
Mhm.
Uh, they did not have access to BTP, but we could, add their add their system, like development system in ADT, and continue working using RAP. We then deployed this application using BAS, and we could see the tiles on Fury Launchpad. So is this an S4 HANA scenario? Like, is this a cloud scenario or a S4 HANA scenario where they
So
don't have access
mhm.
to what? Basically, what I'm trying to ask is S4 HANA private cloud, S4 HANA cloud, and S4 HANA on premise system with access to Fury. All three require BTP, or is BTP limited to only cloud systems?
BTP only limited to cloud systems, ma'am.
Okay, okay, all right,
Mhm.
all right.
Okay. Thank you. So now let's move on to the setting up of our BTP account, how to create our first BTP account. I will be creating a fresh BTP account at front of all of you today to demonstrate the end-to-end scenario. So first of all, we will just have to go to BTP cockpit and create an account. But before that, those who are new to SAP, you have to first register yourself with an SAP ID. So we have to create a fresh account with SAP, and it's called SAP Universal ID. You need to create a SAP Universal ID. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You can go to sap.com. So let me open the link. And here you create a free account by clicking on user icon. And then you will just put your email address. You can put your email address, your Gmail or your, you know, personal email ID or your company email ID also. Yes. And then you can create your fresh first SAP account. So this is something which, in case you don't have an SAP account, you never use BTP, you never use BAS, you never did anything, you are absolute beginner with cloud, you create your BTP, you create your account first. This is step number one. Now, after the step number one is done, you need to then log into SAP BTP cockpit to create your BTP account. So for that, what you need to do, you need to go to SAP BTP trial account. So it's called tools.hana.ondemand.com. Sorry, it's called HANA trial on demand.com, account.hanatrialondemand.com. There you need to go. And what it does is it will then give you a login screen like this. And here you have to log in. So you have to put your email ID to log in. So I will put our official email ID to connect. So I put my official email ID. This is the SAP account which we already created with universal ID earlier, and I will log in with that. So you can also go on the top right corner to see the user information. So it has picked up a wrong user, you see. Sometimes it happens if you have multiple users. The reason being I am doing multiple corporate training batches, open batches, multiple demos, yes, demo pods, so many conferences. So I have multiple BTP accounts for different purpose. So it automatically picked up another account for me. So I have to log out and log in again. So be always careful if you have multiple BTP accounts for different purpose. You have to check always on the top right corner, have you connected to the correct account? So now I'll enter my user ID and password, and I will connect to my BTP account. So we will go to the cockpit. So this is our SAP BTP cockpit. Yes. Okay, now our next step is here when you come for the first time. Okay, usually what happens is it will ask you to choose a data center. So maybe I think this is also not a good account to start with. Let me use another account which is little fresh. So I will log in again and I will use another account. I guess maybe I can use this one. So I would want to show you an account which is very much fresh, like a very fresh account. Yeah. So that is why I'm just trying to re-log in again within another account which is pretty fresh. So let me try to use that email. So if it's a fresh account, yes, perfect. So this kind of a window you will get. So let me delete. I don't want to use an old account. So what will happen for the first time when you land up and create your first BTP account, system will ask you the data center. So if you remember how BTP is organized, underlying you have first of all a infrastructure. Yes, infrastructure provider, which is Amazon, Microsoft Azure, or Google. One of the infrastructure provider you will be using. On top of it is where you will have your BTP account. So you system will first ask you which infrastructure you want to use. Yes, which infrastructure provider, which partner of SAP you want to use to create your BTP account. So in case of trial account, which is free for learning purpose, SAP only give two options, Azure or AWS. AWS, they will give US data center, and Azure, they will give you the Singapore data center if it's a fresh account you are creating. Now, let me quickly also tell you the account structure in BTP. So BTP account structure, how it look like. So BTP account structure, how the BTP account structure look like. So in our BTP account, always it starts with something called a global account. So whenever you create a fresh BTP account for your company also, it will always start with a global account first of all. Global account. Now what is a global account? A global account is used for customer billing purpose. Now imagine a company IBM. Yeah. Now what IBM does? IBM say go to SAP and say I want to use BTP for you. I have my customer. Let's say IBM have many customer. Let's say one customer is Nestle, one customer is ONGC, one customer is Reliance. Yeah. So what IBM go say? I want to build software for my customers, Nestle and ONGC and Reliance. Yeah. So I want to use your BTP. So SAP create a global account for IBM. So what happens? Every month, whatever IBM is using, the bill will be created now. That bill, this bill will be sent to IBM against this global account. And at the global account level, IBM will choose what are the BTP services they want to use. And these are called entitlements. So SAP will give entitlements to IBM, and IBM can then use these services. And based on what are the entitlements given, SAP will charge IBM for. Okay, that is the global account. Now, after the global account, we have something called sub account. Now, what IBM does, IBM have many units, or IBM have many customers, or even they have many units. So let's say IBM HR department sits in Singapore. Their finance department sits in Europe, and their let's say sales and distribution or warehouse department sits in India. Now, what IBM does, they would want to start building software for all three departments, or let's say for these customers. Yeah. So for HR department, they want to build a software. Here they want to use Java. For finance department, they want to build a software. Here they want to use ABAP. And for warehouse department, they just want to store the data. They don't want to build any software. So what they do, they will go to SAP and they say, I want one ABAP environment, one instance. I want Cloud Foundry runtime for build Java application, two instances, and I want database 3 database instances. So SAP will send bill for everything every month. Now, how they organize these things? So they will have one ABAP instance which they give to Europe. They have two Cloud Foundry instance. They will give to one to Java to HR department Singapore, but one they will keep it just extra. And they have three database instance. One database instance to HR, one for finance, and one for warehouse. They will give it. Yeah. So what will happen? They will create three sub accounts now. One for HR, one sub account for finance, and one sub account for warehouse management. And then they will give these entitlements according to the need to this sub account. This internally IBM will take care. So SAP only know global account for IBM, and how IBM want to organize inside their company. They can do it with the sub account. A sub account is specific to a region. So let's say their HR region is Singapore. So they will use Amazon AWS Singapore region. For finance, they will use, let's say, the Microsoft Azure with Frankfurt region. For warehouse management, let's say they will use US, Amazon US region. Yes, like that. So each sub account can be created with different data centers, different providers of infrastructure, and there these entitlements are then assigned to this or issued to this sub account. How IBM want to organize their internal development, IBM can do with a sub account. Now, a sub account inside will have all the services, and services will have the service keys through which these services are accessed. Fantastic. So inside a sub account is where you have services and also subscriptions, of course. That is what we'll be having inside a sub account. So actually, when you run a ABAP environment, yes, where will you run? You have a global account, you have a sub account, and then on top of one of the sub account, let's say this sub account is where you have ABAP environment running ABAP on cloud. You're running on one of the sub account level. And when you run this ABAP environment, you also have a service key. So using the service key, you will be accessing this ABAP environment from your laptop. So you will have your laptop. This is me. I am a developer. So I have my laptop, and in my laptop, I will install the tool. And this tool is called ADT tool, ABAP development tool on Eclipse. And using this tool, I will connect to this ABAP environment in BTP. And to be able to do that, I need the service key. Yes, this is the BTP account structure. Any question on this topic? Please do not ask questions irrelevant of today's class or today's topic. Please only ask relevant questions so I can help you out. But it's my promise that I will answer all your questions over the time. But any question here about BTP account structure? No? Okay. So let us move on now and create our global account and sub account and run a ABAP instance on top of our sub account. So I'm going to switch over back. So I go back. So this is a fresh account today I'm planning to use. It is as fresh as the way you will create. Yes. So I've deleted what was already there, and I'm going to create a very, very, very fresh. And look at that. When you come for the first time, this is how the screen looks. It asks you what? Infrastructure provider. So let me go back to Discovery Center and check ABAP trial. ABAP is available on which infrastructure for the trial plan. You can see if you want to use ABAP environment or ABAP on cloud, only it is available on AWS US East BA. Yes, it's not available with any other provider in trial mode. It's not available with Azure Singapore. So can anyone tell me, my friends, in this situation, can you say to me which infrastructure provider, which data center you will choose? Anybody in the room? Which infrastructure provider out of these two you will choose? Anybody? US East AWS. Why?
US AWS.
Why?
US AWS.
Why?
Because it is service is provided by the database is in US.
You can see this particular service instance only available for this data center. I can check on Discovery Center. So if you by mistake choose this, ultimately what will happen? You will never be able to use ABAP on cloud. Yes, you will never be able to use in the trial account. I'm telling you, you will never be able to use ABAP on cloud. So when you create your fresh BTP account, always cross check your Discovery Center. Which service? What is the data center? What is the provider? It's available or not available. So what it will do now when you choose create, it will first create a global account. You see it is creating a global account. Then it creates a sub account. Wow. Then it just assign a org name. Org name is just a recognizable name to your sub account. And then it creates a space. So space is not relevant for us because it is relevant for Cloud Foundry environment. But we will not be using Cloud Foundry environment. We will be using the RESTful application programming model with ABAP on cloud environment. So this space concept is not relevant for us. But if you plan to use the open source technology like Java and Node.js, then the space will be relevant for you because ultimately your applications for open source technology are deployed inside a space, but not relevant for us because our application will be deployed on ABAP environment, not on Cloud Foundry environment. Yeah. So it is creating a global account for billing purpose. Of course, it's a trial. So trial is free for you and me. We will not spend 16 lakh rupees just for learning, right? We will not do that. Yes. So this is just for learning purpose. We're creating a trial account. We're creating a sub account. The data center is what we choose was AWS US East. Yeah. So what is happening behind the scene? Let me show you the data center. AWS data center, Virginia, VA. Yeah. So if you go to images, this is the data center. Somewhere in America, this is the Amazon data center. In this Amazon data center, inside this data center, somewhere, what is happening? You have a server room. You have a server room inside this, like this. So inside this data center in Virginia, in America, there is a server room like this. In that server room, there is one of the rack. In that one of the rack, yes, somewhere in one of the rack, there is a server. There is a hardware which has hard disk, RAM, CPU, everything. Yes, in that rack, there is one of the server. Yes, in that rack, there is one of the server. In that server, it is actually allocating memory for you. Bam. That's what is happening. This is the inside view of data center, guys. What is happening when you creating an account here? It is going to America. In America, in this data center, in one of the rack where there's actual hardware, actual CPU, RAM, hard disk, it's allocating a memory there for you. And there it is setting up a BTP platform for you. So when you talk to BTP platform, that BTP platform will talk to this server. Yes, guys. This is what it will do. This is what it will do. Cool. Cool, guys. Click on continue. And now we can go to a trial account. So first, when you go inside, you will find your global account. So I go inside, you see this is your global account for billing purpose. And under the global account, you can have multiple sub accounts. So you can create multiple sub account for different data centers if you want. So if you want, you can use another data center, let's say Singapore, and you can give a name, you can give a display name, and you can create. So we only have one sub account right now. This is good enough. US East VA. And now I go inside, and here I will spin a ABAP on cloud. See, I told you that you can't run ABAP code in a notepad. So you have to have a ABAP environment. If that ABAP environment on BTP, it's ABAP on cloud. So what I will do now, I go to service marketplace where I will find all those services which I was showing you a few minutes ago on service marketplace. And here I will search ABAP. Here it is. This is the environment. So would you like to start a ABAP environment in the cloud? Yes, for sure. Why not? Why not? So let's click on create, and it will ask you ABAP environment is standard. Yes. What's the name you want to give? I want to give the name as Anubhav ABAP, Anubhav dash ABAP, let's say. Click on next, and now you have to provide your email ID. What is this email ID? This email ID will be the same email ID through which you created this account. So I'm using my colleague's email ID, install.abap. This is Minakshi's email ID, my colleague. So I'm using that email ID, her email ID here, that you have to edit, and you have to say next button. It is just giving you overview that I'm planning to start an ABAP environment now. Yes, click on create. You can view now your instance. So click on view instance and subscriptions. And here you will see it is being added in the instance. Yes. So it is now starting an ABAP environment in the cloud, and it has got a service for you to connect. Remember, this is the service instance. When you start a service, you get a service instance to talk to that service. Yes, to talk. This is the actual car. This is the actual car. So you first choose the service. You choose the plan. The plan is trial plan. You see the plan. What is the plan? So plan name is shared plan, shared trial plan. And when you do that, then ultimately it gave you service instance. Now to access this service, what do you need? To access the car, what do you need? You need the key. So let's create a service key. So I create a service key. I come here, give a service key name. So let me give the name as, let's say, ABAP dash key. You can give anything. It's up to you. I just give ABAP key. So I click on create. It creates now the service key for my service. So it has actually in the America, somewhere in Virginia, in the Amazon data center, it has set up a ABAP account for you, a ABAP environment for you, so that can there your code can go there, it can compile and it can execute. And now to connect to this environment, we need a service. We need a service instance. So service instance got created. Now we're creating a service key so that we can connect to that service instance. And if you view the service key, you can see it contains credentials, private information. Yes, you see, it contains user ID, password, all the private information to connect to your service. Never lose your service key. Never lose it. Yeah, never lose it. Now you can download the service key in our laptop, and this service key is my key to talk to that environment on the internet. Yes, to talk to that environment on the internet. This is my key. Yes, I've downloaded in my laptop. Yes, never lose your service key. Never lose it. Yes, in case let's say you lost it, you can create another service key also. Perfect. Bam. So what did we do by far? We created a global account. We created a sub account. We started an ABAP uh, environment on BTP. Yes, and we got a service key created, and we download the service key in our laptop. Our next step is to use our tool to connect to this service instance. Bam, line by line, step by step, I will explain you every single bit. This is the difference between what you study on YouTube or internet versus what you do in a systematic training like this one. Because in this training is where I am opening all the secrets at front of you, what is being done where and what's the purpose. The important part here is to understand why we do what we do. Yes, so most of you will go to tutorials on Google, but there you may find just okay, click here, click here, click here, do this, execute, output come. But what did you gain? What knowledge did you gain? What knowledge did you gain? Almost nothing. Yes, so you need to understand where is the environment, why it's called a BAP on cloud. Yes, where it is running, what is a sub account, what is a global account, how the costing will be decided for your company. Okay, now let's understand quickly some features of this ABAP environment on BTP. What are the limitations and features? So ABAP on cloud, the environment. The environment because it can run your ABAP code in the BTP, and BTP is the cloud. So what is ABAP on cloud? So ABAP on cloud is in ABAP environment. running on SAP BTP on top of AWS infrastructure. It is a shared ABAP system in trial mode. So since we are using trial mode, it's a ABAP system which is in on sharing basis. Yes. So that is what system has created. Yes. So basically, since it's a shared system, yes, for all the with other trial users, we will see all the packages of other users as well, because it's a trial. So just like you and me, there are a lot of other consultants across the world who are learning ABAP on cloud. So they also created their BTP account. They also created. So what SAP does, they share the ABAP environment for with all of them. SAP do not create a dedicated ABAP system for you, because one dedicated ABAP system, as you saw, it will cost huge. So if for every user SAP create a dedicated ABAP server, it is going to cost them huge. So what they do, through the BTP, they share the ABAP instance with everyone. In the trial account, I'm telling about trial account, which we created, not the productive one. Yes. So this is why you will be able to see, once I connect, you will see lot of other packages which we did not create, but it's from other trial users. Yes. Now, one very important thing with ABAP on cloud, no one ever, ever access SAP GUI. You cannot use SAP GUI with the cloud system. This is a simplest way to know whether your company is using cloud system or not. If you cannot access GUI, it's a cloud system. It's a cloud system. So you are not allowed to use GUI at all with the cloud system. Not possible. Impossible. No T codes are allowed with GUI. In fact, you can't even use SAP GUI to connect to ABAP on cloud system. You cannot. Impossible. Impossible. We don't have control to install notes, patches, and upgrade. No access to SPRO customizing is allowed in the cloud. Yes, you cannot. Now, one more important thing, ABAP on cloud is just ABAP environment. It's not a SAP solution like S4HANA or ECC. It's not a solution, guys. So you will never find standard SAP tables like Mara, VBAC, yes, ECDOCA, MedDoc. You will never find none of the standard SAP ERP tables available in the cloud. No, no, cannot. Yes, you are only allowed to use DDC objects which are marked released. What do we mean by that? So basically, SAP have many, some still data dictionary objects like land one. Data, your data elements are there, domains are there, but you are only allowed to use objects which are released objects. You are not allowed to use any non-release. Release means these objects are meant for cloud. you can use them in the cloud. Yeah, you can use them in the cloud. We cannot create everything like what we do in a on-premise system. Example, forms, workflow, scripts, dialog programs, PBOPI. You cannot do that. Then, Anubhav, there are too many limitations. How do I develop then? Guys, that's why we have completely new things. Fiori is there, RAP is there. I will teach you all of that. But please understand this limitation first. You may be thinking it's useless then. Yeah. No, it's not useless. It is still very useful. Allow me to proceed. I will show you the multiple use cases. Yes, multiple use cases. Okay, we cannot create ABAP programs in the ABAP on cloud system. Yeah. Anubhav, are you crazy? Why are we here then? Why are we here? Yes. Yes, you cannot. It's not possible to create ABAP programs in the system. Then how do I write my code? All code will be in form of classes. Only classes are allowed to be created as a ABAP repository objects. You can only create classes. The code will be inside the classes. Okay, you cannot create a ABAP program. The ABAP environment in cloud or ABAP on cloud, AOC, only allows whitelisted ABAP statements. No other ABAP statements can be used freely. Example, write. You can't use write statement. You cannot. Anything which launches SAP GUI, start of selection, selection screen, yes, set screen, go to screen, open screen, yes, anything, any function module which launches a GUI based screen, not allowed. Only whitelisted ABAP statement. And where are these whitelisted ABAP statements, by the way? You can just check. SAP ABAP whitelisted statements for ABAP environment in BTP. So restricted ABAP, it's called restricted ABAP. And here you can see a blog actually. And here you will see somewhere the whitelisted statements which you can use in the cloud. So here we will go to the documentation and we will find the list of statements which we can use only in the ABAP environment on the cloud. So it's just logging me in. Just allow a minute. Do not ask me specific questions whether character is allowed or not. I cannot answer that. We have to look at the documentation for that. So we come back here to ABAP environment on BTP. Here it is. This is the official documentation link. Let me give you the official documentation page. And I will also give you now the statements which are allowed or not. So we can come here to ABAP environment. Yes. And you see getting started, ABAP environment initial settings. So creating a ABAP system, all of this I've taught you. Actually, I'm following the same guide, setting up, setup. So somewhere we should be able to find that what are the statements which are not allowed. So there is a place where we actually can find the link to see whitelisted ABAP statements. Not sure if system will be able to search it properly. It's not. Okay, I will find a link and put it here. So only whitelisted ABAP statements are allowed to be used. You can create your packages under a standard package Z local. The preferred programming model to develop applications is RAP. RESTful. I'll talk about RESTful application programming model in detail. Just I'm covering a overview. This is the only preferred programming model you can use to develop your applications in the cloud. Okay, now I will also put at least the first link which I was showing you for the restricted ABAP statements. So only released ABAP statements are allowed. Let me just open that. It's also called as steampunk. Yes. So ABAP is on cloud. Has a code name called steampunk. It's just a code name of ABAP on cloud. So when you hear steampunk, it's not a radical innovation. It's ABAP on cloud. Okay. That's called steampunk. That's called steampunk. Okay. So I will be finding the link for the restricted ABAP statements and I'll share with you soon. So now let's talk about our development tool. So we will not be allowed to use the SAP GUI development tool as I mentioned already. And the only development tool allowed is Eclipse tool. So we will now see quickly how to set up Eclipse tool with ADT. Now what is Eclipse tool? Eclipse tool is a tool which is there in industry since many years for developing applications. This tool is used by millions of developers across the globe to build applications like enterprise application, C programs, Java applications, web applications, website development. This is a tool which is there many years. It's a free tool. It's a free tool. So when SAP was trying to find out a tool which they can use with ABAP on cloud, they figured out that they can start using Eclipse tool. But the problem is this Eclipse tool doesn't recognize SAP systems by default. So if you have a SAP system, it is usually designed to connect only through SAP GUI. So if you have a SAP system, traditionally what we do, we connect this SAP system using SAP GUI only. And that is what traditionally was. So SAP wanted a new tool and they didn't want to reinvent the wheel. They didn't want to redevelop everything again. So they decided to use Eclipse tool to connect to SAP. But Eclipse tool directly cannot connect to SAP system, cannot. So what they did, they built a plugin on top of Eclipse tool. It's called ADT. So what is ADT? It's a plugin. The full form is ABAP Development Tools. So this plugin you can install on Eclipse tool to connect to our ABAP system. So a Eclipse tool cannot connect to ABAP system directly until unless you install this extra plugin. So that is what you need to understand now. So what are the prerequisites and how do you set up Eclipse tool? So first of all, you anyway need to have SAP GUI. Second, you need to install Eclipse tool. Third, you need to install ADT plugin. And fourth, you need to connect. So these are the four things you need to do. So where do you find documentation to set up Eclipse tool step by step, line by line? So that is available on tools.hanaondemand.com #ABAP. This is where you will find documentation and prerequisite to install Eclipse tool. Yes. So when you come down, you can see here, first you need to have Java runtime environment installed in your laptop. So you need to install GRE. So first is starters. So you need to install GRE in your laptop. I'll give you GRE 17 link, and I'll give you direct link for Windows installer. This is the link for GRE installation in your laptop. Once this is done, next step is you need to make sure that you have SAP GUI already. The third thing, you need to check the Microsoft VS C++ runtime. So for Windows laptop, we need runtime distributable. These are prerequisites to install Eclipse tool. And now comes his main course. So you need also the SAP GUI in your laptop. Yes. Though SAP GUI tool is useless, but still it needs because it has some dependency libraries on Eclipse. Yeah, that's why we still need it. So once you have these three things configured, next is main course. You begin with the main course. So in this first step is, okay, all the steps are already given by them. So these are the steps. Yeah. So first you download the Eclipse tool from here. So go to Eclipse IDE for Java developers. So by the way, Java is not required for this training at all. Don't confuse. It's just the tool we need. So we go there and we download this tool from here. You see this link. Once you download this tool in your computer, how it will come out, it will get a zip. You extract the zip. So I've already done that before the class. So if I go to my D drive where I've extracted the zip file, Eclipse folder, this is how it's going to look like. Yeah, it will come like this. Now you double click and launch the Eclipse tool. Wow. So this is the Eclipse tool. It will first ask you to give a workspace. Workspace is nothing but a folder in your computer in which Eclipse will keep all the files. So that's okay. Click on launch and the Eclipse tool will launch. But this
Hi,
Eclipse tool,
Anubhav.
yes sir,
We need to install these things in our personal laptop, or
personal
you
laptop,
will provide the server.
your personal laptop.
Okay, we will not get the server from your end, so to practice the
No, you can,
updates and all.
server is already set up now sir, today. This is your server
Okay,
in BTP.
okay,
This is your server in
okay, sir.
BTP. You see, ABAP environment in BTP. This is your ABAP on cloud system. This is your server. And now I'm installing the client, the tool to connect to the server. So this ABAP system, we already did it. Where did we do? We did it in the cloud. So this is your ABAP on cloud system now on
Okay.
BTP.
Yeah, actually, we seen somewhere like the trainers only providing that entire server, so directly remote system. So directly we can go
If you
there
take my
and we will
ABAP on
practice.
HANA training, then we do provide the SAP system for S4 HANA also.
Yeah.
But for this training, it is not needed.
Okay.
Those
We
trainers
can
will
do our
charge
work.
you. There is a hidden
Okay.
cost in the training cost for the server access. They are charging you.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not
Understood.
charging you. I'm giving it free. I'm teaching you in a way that you can get free server. This is your free server. Okay. All right. So
Uh,
now we
yeah.
got the tool and we started the tool. It looked like this. Now this tool, if you go to open perspective button, so on the right side, you have this button, open perspective. If you go there, actually, you will not find anything related to ABAP. I see ABAP, but you will not. Why? Because Eclipse tool doesn't support ABAP. Doesn't support ABAP. Then what do? You need to install the plugin. Yes, ADT plugin. How do you do that? Steps are here, you see. So after installing, you have to go to help, install new software. Okay. So help and install new software. Yes. Then you need to give this link, copy, give this link, paste it. You got ABAP tools for development tools here. You got ABAP development tools. You choose that. Yes. Choose that. Click on next button and click on finish. Yes, next, accept the license agreement and finish. This will take around 20 minutes. to set up this ADT plugin on Eclipse tool. Now don't be scared of Eclipse tool. It's just like any other development tool which you have used in your career, like SCAT. So what is SCAT? How a SCAT look like? SCAT, let me show you the traditional ABAP. So this is our traditional ABAP system, what you use in your companies usually. Yes. And if you go to SCAT, what do you see? On the left hand side, you see your project objects like programs, yes, data dictionary, views, tables, everything, right? This is how SCAT look. On the right, you see the code. When you write the code, on the right, you will see the code actually. That is what you do, right? In a similar way, if you check here, it is exactly the same environment. On the left, you see your artifacts, programs, dictionary objects, and on the right, you see the code. Yeah, that is what how Eclipse look like. So once the ADT plugin is done, then you come back, it will restart your Eclipse. You will come back and now you choose ABAP, this option, and click open. When you open, now you see on the right side these options. Create ABAP project, create ABAP cloud project. So now we are in the ABAP on cloud. We are learning ABAP on cloud. So we choose create ABAP cloud project. So what is ABAP cloud project? ABAP cloud project is nothing but it's a connection. It's not actual program. Yes, ABAP cloud project is a connection to our ABAP on cloud system. So now what we are trying to do, we are telling computer, hey Eclipse tool, can you please connect to my ABAP system in the BTP so that I can start development. This is what I'm telling. So what you have got, you've got system environment. So you have to put either your URL manually or you go option 2, SAP BTP environment, use a service key. And few minutes ago, if you remember, I've downloaded the service key, right? So I will click next button. I will now import my service key, which I downloaded in my computer. Go to my downloads folder in my computer, and you see this key, abap-key JSON. This we downloaded, if you remember. We picked that up. You see, it has uploaded it. So it has all the details to connect to your BTP account in the cloud. So click on next. It's trying to connect. It will also authenticate you. So you have to say open logon page in the browser, and you will give your user ID password of your BTP account. So I say you have now successfully logged on. Please head over back to ADT. Okay. So you see it's showing me the details. My email ID is visible and I click on finish. And now you will see over here, it has got your ABAP system. Wow. Woohoo! Anubhav. It's a free ABAP system to all of you. You all can set up your own ABAP system free of cost. 0 rupees cost. Don't learn from trainers who are charging you for this system. They are cheating with you. You are paying money for something which you can get free. Yes. This is your free ABAP system in the cloud. True ABAP cloud. You connected it from your local machine ADT tool. The system is running in the cloud. You connected from your computer, from your personal computer connected. So ADT is just a tool. It's just a tool. Like SAP is just a tool. This is just a tool to connect to your system in the cloud. And now we can create our own package. Right click, new. I create a package and I call it as ZGen Anubhav or ZGen AOC batch. Yes, ABAP on cloud training. I create next. It'll ask me a transport request. Yes, it'll ask me a component which is not mandatory. We can click on next. It'll ask me a transport request. You see, I can create a new transport request. My transport request. Click on finish and a new package ZGen AOC batch gets created. This is my package now. Wow. I can right click on package and make it in my favorites so that I don't have to, find it again and again. And you see there are many packages. because it's a shared environment. And in this, now we can create your first program. So let me create a class ZCL first ABAP on cloud class, my first ABAP on cloud class for testing. Hello world. I add an interface called IFOO ABAP run. This is the interface you need to add it to your class to test, because there is no SAP GUI access here. Yes, there's no SAP GUI access. So you have to add this interface, yes, in your system. So here it is, ADT class run. This is the interface, you have to add it. Click on next, finish, and a class gets created. It uses the same transport request, and you see this is my first class. And here in this class, I can just go back and I can just print something on this output. So let me check this interface, which is given by SAP in ABAP on cloud system to print something. And you see there's a parameter called out parameter. So you can use out parameter, and using this, you can say, I want to print. Yes. And I will say, hello ABAP on cloud developers. It's ABAP code, guys. It's ABAP code. So I'm writing in ABAP code. You cannot use write statement. It'll give you an error. चलेगा क्या? चलेगा क्या meaning? Will it work or not? It will not work. You see, it's giving an error. It's giving an error. So it will not work. So you have to comment out. So the only way in the cloud to work is using these classes. Just to print. Right now, just it's a hello world program I'm doing, just to cross check our system is ready and working or not. Yeah. So this is my class. I activate. And now we can run the class directly here. How? We can right click and we can say, I wanted to test my class. So run as, and we can choose ABAP application console. Click on this and you see hello ABAP on cloud developers. It's printing the hello world. Congratulations, everybody. You have learned how to set up your BTP account, how to create your ABAP server, ABAP instance as a shared instance in the trial account in the BTP, which is a true ABAP on cloud systems. Then create a service key and a service instance, and then install the Eclipse tool in your local machine. Configure the ABAP development tool, which is a plugin on top of Eclipse, and connect to your SAP BTP ABAP on cloud environment from your local computer Eclipse ADT tool. And then create a class for testing. Create your first class for Hello World. This is just the beginning. It's just a start of the new dawn of ABAP on cloud for all of you. In the next episode, I'm going to start introduction to CDS entities to just do a refresher for all of you to get comfortable with CDS entity concept. And then subsequently, we will begin with RESTful application programming development in the cloud. Exercise for all of you to try and create your ABAP instance, install your ADT tool in your laptop, connect to the ABAP on cloud instance, create your package and create the first class. This class code will be shared with you as part of a notepad file in the study material. So I will be sharing this entire code with you as part of a study material in the notepad. This notepad I will upload in our in our in our system in the Google Drive. So you can check the study material after the class and you'll get this, including this PPT, where we have everything what we covered today right after the class. The video recording of today's class will be available by 2 p.m. around 6 hours from now. It will be available in our training blog. Once again, thank you so much for your time and patience and your love during this session today. I hope to see you in the next episode next weekend.
Anubhav,
Thank you so much. See you and goodbye. Time for question.
Anubhav, one question, please. Just one
Yes,
question, please.
yes.
Initially, when we started the session, SAP BTP environment, we can have an ABAP environment or Cloud Foundry or Kaima, whatever the environment we choose, and we proceed with it.
Mhm.
As a consultant, like we should be knowing which is best, whether to use an ABAP environment or a Cloud Foundry environment, because subsequently the cost will also be involved when we start consuming the service, right? So probably an application can be worked out using a Cloud Foundry also. It can be built or can be used in the ABAP also. So a person should be having that knowledge to decide which is the cost will be less, whether to go in the Cloud Foundry or the ABAP environment, right?
Bang on. How can you read my mind? Where did you get these powers from?
From you only, probably.
Okay, this question we will answer in the coming episodes. However, if you are so much curious to know the answer right away, check my YouTube video, RAP versus CAP. Go
Okay.
through this video over here. However, it's part of your training. In the next class,
Okay.
when I reach, I will answer this question. But in case you are very much curious right away, right now, have a look at this particular video on YouTube to get a
Yeah.
clear comparison between the ABAP environment and the Cloud Foundry environment and the
Yes.
difference between them, which programming model suitable in what case. This is my colleague here. She is clearly going to explain the difference between RAP versus CAP. Yes.
Sure.
However, we will
Thank you.
cover this topic in the next episode also in detail. There are more questions I've taken from the chat window I put in here, so I can answer them right away. This is the benefit of live classes, because in the live classes you can clarify your doubt right away. Yes. So let me put up these questions here and answer one by one. So you've written the steps to install SAP GUI. Do we need to do the hands-on as part of the training? Yes. So you need to try this at home, not during the class. So to go and try this at home, not during the class. After the class is complete, you can watch the video, yes, and then you can do that. Now, what is CDS table function? Yes, we can create. Next class. Do we need to create package under G-local due to the trial system? Yes. Since it's a shared ABAP trial in BTP, we have to create always under G-local. SAP will not allow you to create package other than Zlocal inside other than Glocal. What is the certification code? Please wait for the coming classes. We just started today. We're just warming up. We didn't even start. Our ship is just started its engine. There's a lot to come. This is a great training, and I'm sure all your questions will be answered soon. How to visualize this? I also say park. Dev QP, please park. This also. Yeah. This is also, we will park it for time being. You have written the steps to SAP GUI, but okay, this already answered. That was correct question. Okay, so let me,
Hello, what is
Hi, Nubha.
yeah, go ahead.
exactly timings for this class?
7 to 9 a.m. IST on weekends.
Only weekends.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, Nubha. This is Ram here. Um, can
Go
I
ahead.
proceed with my question?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Since you mentioned like there will not be any usage of the SAP tables, I mean from the ECC or the S4HANA perspective in this ABAP on cloud environment, development environment. So in the customer perspective, what advantage they'll get when they use the ABAP on cloud systems actually, when they don't
Next
have
class.
the
Next
real-time
class.
environment?
Next class. Use cases. I will explain use cases
Okay,
in the next episode. Now, in
sure, sure.
case you don't have the GUI, I'm giving you complimentary GUI exclusive to all of you, those who are joining with our team. This is the link. Please go through this document. I am giving you complimentary SAP GUI installation with all the steps. Okay. In case you are using a personal laptop for this training, you want the GUI, please you can check this document with the link. It has the SAP GUI for you. Free, 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 free for all of you. I'm giving the SAP GUI. In case you don't have the GUI, I'm giving it to you. Please check the PPT after the class. You will have the GUI there. Yeah. The
Yeah.
link for this.
Thanks, Anubhav. Following the same question, like let's take an example. My customer is using the S4HANA cloud version, and they have some issues in the app level. Do we need to reach out to SAP only, or can developer do something on it?
You need to reach out to SAP because it's a standard cloud system, standard application. We can't tweak it. We cannot debug it. It has to go to SAP. And trust me, if you face a issue in S4 on a cloud system in your application, all the customers are facing the same issue. And in the cloud, there is a concept of hotfix. There's no concept of note. So SAP will release a hotfix for that issue, depending on criticality of the issue. Okay.
Understood. Thanks.
Thank you. So all these tools are free. SAP GUI, ADT, Eclipse, all are free, including the server in the BTB trial account, which we set up in today's class. Any standard application exists in ABAP on cloud? No, none of them. None of them. There is no standard application exist in ABAP on cloud environment. It's not a ERP solution. It's a ABAP environment in the cloud for developers to build solutions, customize solutions in the cloud. Thank you once again for your time. See you in the next